All right, welcome everybody. Thanks again for showing up and little sideline conversations. Just thanking you for all the support that you give me throughout this last year, 2 years, and everything that we got going on. I wanted to just take a little bit of time to share some ideas that I've been coming up with, and also share a plan that I've put together to help benefit both us, our clients, and give me the ability to actually help reciprocate and get you guys more business moving forward, and also show you how some of the things that we're going to do, some access to products and resources that I'm going to provide to you are going to be unique and hopefully help you into the coming year, and just go over some of those things. Also, expanded guidelines, expanded lending parameters, multiple states. So we're gonna go through all that kind of stuff, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll get inspired to see what we can do together in 2023. And you guys should be able to see my screen right now. And so I'm calling it Get in the Loop, right? And this is just my level up plan. So how can we level up together? And really the whole thing, the lifeblood of our relationship, of our business, has always started with the referral, with the connection of a potential buyer, and sometimes questions from a seller, but it usually starts with the connection of a potential buyer. So how do we turn those initial connections into more leads that can come back to you guys to go help them find more homes? And close those leads with very little effort, right? Because by that point, they're approved already. It's just kind of like, here's what they're looking for, go get it. And obviously coming with the highest recommendation from me. So the first thing is we all need to prospect, right? We all spend a certain amount of time prospecting, however we do it, whether we're door knocking, whether we're making phone calls, cold calls, mailers, emails, social media. Chris here on the call, I know, is very good at social media, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But there's a few different things that we know. One, we have to prospect, right? The old saying, ABC, I'll always be closing. Well, it's ABP, always be prospecting, because if you're not prospecting, you're not going to have anything to close. The second thing is what I found out, myself included, we all have a little bit of call reluctance. And if you're honest, I think we all can come together with, like, there's these things called creative avoidance, and one of those things that we find different things to do to avoid doing sometimes is making those calls, making those cold calls, and sometimes even calling our clients for whatever reason. So part of this is going to be calling more like generating warm leads, right? It's a lot easier to call somebody you already have a relationship with, or there's some value, or you know that they're going to be okay hearing from you. Not unlike a call that I received that I picked up, but right before I did this, it was not somebody that I wanted to talk to. Right? But they did a good job at overcoming their call reluctance and calling me, and I had to tell them that I wasn't interested. But point here is there's a lot of different ways that we can market, and you guys are doing this. Some of these things are free, some of these things maybe you invest a little bit of money into. And so we're going to go over some things that hopefully you'll see how we can set ourselves apart and generate more business without any more work or time or effort, energy, or even dollars from you. First, let's go over kind of the 4 C's of the process. And the first C in this whole transaction process is connection, right? That's when we make a connection. That's when you have somebody, in most cases, or when I refer to somebody, like maybe I'll refer you my insurance person, or I'll refer you somebody else, is that referral. And one thing we need to get good at here is learning, maybe being open to a better way to refer people. And the way most people refer is, hey, I gave your name and number to somebody, and what's going on with their approval, right? And a week later, when that call happens, I've never heard from anybody, because typically that's not a referral in my book. When I refer somebody, and the way that I encourage agents to refer to me, because I found it to be more successful, is like when I refer anybody, it's have this conversation, whatever it is. Hey, it's been a great meeting. Really glad we're connecting. We're going to get this done for you. I'm going to introduce you to my preferred lender. He'll get you squared away within 24 hours, and we'll start the process. Right. So that just assumes the fact that we're going to make that. And the key thing is then I make an introduction. That's the way I refer my insurance guy, for example. or an agent or whoever I'm referring, and then I make a text introduction or an email introduction, and then that puts the onus on me to make sure I follow up, and then you don't have to ask me what's going on with their approval anymore, because I'm going to keep you in the loop, and I'm going to text you, I'm going to copy you on emails. You'll always know where that lead is, because I take those leads and referrals extremely seriously. Of course, we're about a relationship business, but let's get real. That's your commission, and I need to protect that. So I'm going to always follow up on that and make sure that we're on top of it. And it starts with making that referral the more efficient way. The next step, the next C, is commitment. Right? So from the time that you make the connection and I get them approved, you're going to be part of that process. We get the loan approval, and now you have an approval in hand to go look at properties. Right. And one thing to note is that we never stop with a pre-approval. We can complete a pre-approval in 24 hours if there's a tight timeline. Hey, we got to go look and we got to make an offer on this property tomorrow. That's great. But what we always do here is I always send my files to underwriting after I have that initial pre-approval. And then we come back maybe within the next 48 hours with a fully underwritten commitment or a fully underwritten approval, right? So now you can check that box in the RPA that says fully underwritten pre-approval, and that makes your offer stand out. Plus, it gives us more confidence once we're in escrow, right? That now there's almost no chance that something funky will come up unless there's a title thing or a appraisal thing or things like that. But we'll talk a little bit more about how we can mitigate those things on the appraisal side too. Next thing, of course, is, hey, we got a property under contract. That's right. So that's going to be what kind of starts the next part of the process that we're going to get into, and how I'm going to help generate more deals for you guys. But we go under contract, we open escrow, and then of course we continue to communicate throughout that process. And that's the last C, is communication, making sure that you guys are on top of things at least once a week, right? Because sometimes it's just hurry up and wait. Sometimes there's daily updates that are required, but sometimes it's, hey, once a week, it's cool. We're checking in. Here's where we are in the process. And one thing I found that is really a pet peeve, and maybe you guys can agree or disagree with this, but when I've surveyed agents, one of their biggest concerns, or their biggest, hey, I don't like this from lenders, is lack of communication. They don't follow up. And if they don't follow up with you, well, how good of a job are they going to do following up with your leads, right? So we're gonna communicate. I'm going to show you how that communication gets turned into dollars. These are the daily disciplines that I do. So 4 days a week, I have a plan. In the morning, I'm going to do a specific thing, right? And then there's everything else, right? But there's certain specific things that I'm going to do to ensure that our businesses can continue to grow together. And it goes Monday through Friday. So on Mondays, I'm calling some of your colleagues, most of whom I don't work with yet, right? Because I'm trying to build those relationships. I'm trying to grow our networks, because sometimes you guys can collaborate together, and it's good to be able to refer people in the business to other people in the business. But Tuesdays where really things start to pick up. Tuesdays is my update call and just ask. Because anytime you have a conversation with somebody, I'm going to teach you a little concept. It's all about saying goodbye in a little bit different way than most people are used to, right? But it takes practice and intentionality. So who are the parties that I'm going to reach out to on every Tuesday when we have a live transaction together? It's going to be the borrower, the co-borrower, the buyer's agent, listing agent, escrow officer, and the insurance agent. Those are the key people that I'm going to be reaching out to every single Tuesday, just to give an update. Even if nothing's changed, it's just an opportunity to have a connection point, a conversation. And then guess what? When you go to say goodbye, it's been great. Hey, by the way, do you have any friends, family, or coworkers that are looking to buy, sell, or refi? And then you wait for the answer. Sometimes it's yes. That's where the new introduction comes in. The new lead comes in, I get them approved. And guess what? Any of these people that are tied to the transaction of a borrower that you referred to me that send that deal, anybody that comes from any of those sources is going to come right back to you, because you were the original source of that lead. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. But that happens every Tuesday. And of course, most of the time it's, oh no, not anybody right now. But then you kind of go for the extra commitment, right? Well, can I count on you when some of your friends, family, or coworkers are looking to buy, sell, refi, to give me a call, right? So that's how we start kind of getting those commitments. People like that we follow up, that we touch base with them, because most people aren't calling those people, by the way. Title escrow, the biggest complaint too is they never know what's going on. Most lenders aren't calling them. Listing agents, they're called maybe sometimes on the front end, but after that, it's never mind, right? So that's just by and large the way that it happens. So you can see how you develop a relationship, and you have the opportunity to just say goodbye a different way by always asking for the business, right? And that goes back to ABC, because me asking them that, it's basically a close, right? I'm asking them to do that because we're working together. I'd love to work with these people. They're great. Let's do it again. Okay. Next is Wednesday, is our past database, maintaining the connections, and just ask. And this is one area where I find that a lot of real estate agents can really need some help. Also, it doesn't matter if you're newer in the business, or if you've been in the business and you have a database of 200 or 300 past clients and or past leads, or hey, I'm gonna wait till later type of thing. But this is something that I do on Wednesdays. And by the time you get your past database big enough, then you're doing it alphabetically, right? So one week I might be calling A through C's. The next week, I'll do the next 3 letters of the alphabet, and so on, right? So the way that we want to tailor it is so that we're contacting our past database, everybody in our past database, at least 4 times a year, right? Once a quarter. And same thing, right? This isn't like a long-winded thing. So just so you know, I have a little 3-minute timer right here, right? Because we got to guard our time and our activities. So any of those things, it's a sales call, right? But you do care about those people. You develop a relationship. But once you get through the family and occupation, recreation, and hey, what's going on? Man, it's been great catching up with you. I'm so happy that you're stoked with your new house. And Chris did a great job, man. You know, he's still out there crushing it, and I'm so glad that we got to work together that time. By the way, do you know any friends and family or coworkers that are looking to buy, sell, or refinance right now? And you'd be surprised when you ask the question, all of a sudden a light bulb comes on in some people's heads. But if you don't ask the question, even though they know what you do, whether it's a realtor or lender, they know what you do. They're not going to think about that person that just popped into their head because you asked them the question and say, hey, by the way, before you go, I was talking to my friend and he's looking to buy a new house. Can you help him? Right. So you ask that question, and if they say no, same thing. Yeah, no problem. Everybody's busy this time of year right now, but hey, can I count on you to give me a call in case somebody comes up and your friends, family, or coworkers don't want to buy, sell, or refinance? You'll notice that I say, can I count on you to give me a call? Right? Because now I'm teaching them also that I don't want them to give my number out to anybody. Right? I want them to call me so that we can make that proper connection, that proper referral. Because otherwise, it's less likely that it'll happen. Just like when you give my number out to somebody and just leave it to them, it's less likely that they're going to make that call, and more likely that at least eventually we'll connect, but it's going to take more time, more energy, and effort on your part to follow up again and see what happened versus just leaving it to me. All make sense? Everything good? All right. So again, same thing. We closed your buyer's loan. They say, hey, yeah, you know what? My sister wants to do something. They refer me to the sister. I get them approved. It originally came from you. So of course, now I'm coming back to you with an approved buyer, and we rock and roll. Thursdays is also a very cool kind of 2-prong approach. All right, we were talking about that because it accomplishes 2 things. And Thursdays, I call what I call my pals. Okay, those are everybody that you sent over that are pre-approved and looking. And of course, they're our pals because that's how we're going to get paid. And so there's 2 things that I'm doing here on a Thursday with these pals. Is first, I'm validating and edifying you again. Hey, yeah, I just wanted to check in. How are things going? How are things going with Diana? And she's so great. If I was looking to buy a house right now in that area, I totally would work with her. Man, you made a great choice. How is that home search looking? Right. So there's always the agent edification, because people get squirrely, especially after some time goes by. So we want to make sure that we validate the fact that they made a great choice to work with you. And then I check in to see where they're at, and I vision cast, especially if they're searching for a while. Sometimes we have to remind them of why they're excited to buy the house, right? Why they're looking. And man, it's going to be great to host that summer barbecue, isn't it? And all these different things, right? To get them, keep them engaged. And the second side of that is I want to make sure, especially in this environment, that they're still approved, right? If there's been movement in the rates, I want to connect, make sure that there hasn't been any changes in their jobs. They haven't gone and spent some money they're going to be used for down payment. Why? Because I'm going to connect with you also on Thursday and let you know if there's any changes there. I'm going to tell you, hey, you know what? We gotta work on some stuff here, and their approval kind of shifted. So don't spend any of your valuable time this weekend showing them houses until we get that cleared up. Or of course, if everything's cool, be like, all right, right on. If every 90 days, if something needs to be updated, we'll just update it and I'll send you new information. And that way, as you go into the weekend, you know that you're going to be making the best use of your time with anybody that you're showing homes. Make sense? All right. And that's for people who want to read, but I don't like reading during presentations, so I just talk. And that's it. So how does it help you? Well, we've kind of been talking about how it's going to help you, right? That's my strategy, my plan, and it works. Just like most things, it's a good plan. It works if you apply it consistently over time. Sometimes I make a call and somebody, yeah, you know what? I have somebody and I get referred to somebody. I got a veteran that I'm doing that with right now. And actually, Chris, it just so happens that you referred over a veteran to me as well. So I really appreciate that. Love working with vets. But that's the process, right? That's the purpose, making sure that you're working with somebody that's still qualified, making good use of your time, making sure that you're edified, and of course, searching for more leads for you on those Thursday calls, because that's the same way that I say goodbye to those people who are already approved. Hey, by the way, before you go, I know your friends, like they're probably super stoked that you're looking for a home right now. Do you know anybody else that's looking to buy, sell, or refi right now? You get the point, right? All right. So that's my level up plan. Now I'd like to just share with you some things that kind of make me different, what we can provide and offer you different, just so you're aware of it. I'm not going to get into product and niches or any of that other boring stuff right now. It's important, but we're not going to get into any of that stuff. I'm going to get more into how I'm supporting you and different things that maybe other people aren't giving you a resource. I know, especially some of the online lenders, this is relevant to, because a lot of those lenders are actually becoming your competition when they're creating their own real estate brands and doing different things. So when you refer something to me, we have a client for life philosophy. We're always going to be touching that client. It's going to be co-marketed so that your name and your face is always put together there. And then everything that comes around is going to stay here together for the two of us. You know, we're not going to be marketing to take them somewhere else or doing anything like that. It's a very important key. One thing that I brought to the table and to the company is our complimentary relocation concierge service. This is definitely something that I have had a lot of agents have interest in this when I present it. So if you want, make sure you send me an email or tell me before we get off the call that you want information on this. But this is another great tool that you can use during your listing appointments and your buyer appointments too, because you can tell them all about this complimentary relocation concierge service. Is going to do everything for them. It's going to save them so much time in changing utilities and moving and childcare, school information, trash removal, security, internet, pretty much anything. And the cool thing about the service is that I'm providing it to you 100% free, providing to the client 100% free. And the services are typically less expensive if they go through the concierge because they use their nationwide enterprise leverage, right? So they get better pricing with all these different vendors, these local vendors of all these services. So it's super cool. I can provide you PDFs with what it is. And then all you do is it's a link. So I can either send it during the end of the process, or you can send it if you leveraged it as a value add from you and say, hey, just click on this link, enter this code, and the concierge will reach out to you directly and coordinate all that for you. And they say that on average, it saves a client and or you about 5 hours worth of phone calls. So that's super cool. Going on the relocation side, or even if you get somebody that reaches out to you online, I'm lending in 25 states now. So if you have people coming from out of state, that's great. If you have people selling their home in California and moving out of state, well, part of that listing presentation, I'm sure part of your conversations is where are you going to next? What are you going to do next? And do we need to get you approved to buy your next home? Right. So that's a point where you can bring me in. And as long as if they're leaving out of state, if they're going to any of these states, I can help them get approved in that state. And I can also connect them with other real estate agents in those states if they need to, right? If they need a referral of some kind. So that's super cool. Here's the next idea that I came together with, and since Chris is on the line, I'll call on him. He's employing this right now on a new development that he's representing. He's got 14 new construction homes that are up for sale now in Panorama City. Beautiful, beautiful job. They're 3-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, almost about 1,800 square foot homes under 800K. So if you have anybody, definitely talk to Chris. But one of the things, because I do work with a lot of listing agents, so, and some do both, of course, but how do we help the listing agents make more money on their listings potentially? And one of those ways is giving them the opportunity to double end a listing. And how do we do that? Well, by encouraging people to get approved, apply and get approved, and then I can bring that buyer to you directly with a local competitive advantage. Also, of course, the relationship with the agent. People feel that they have a better chance of getting their offer accepted when they're working with somebody who has that local competitive advantage. So what I did was have this yard sign designed. It's a 18 by 24 inch. That QR code takes you to a landing page where they're encouraged to apply and get approved or reach out to me. They enter their contact information and the property address that they visited where that sign was at. And then I know, of course, okay, this is Chris's property, it's David's property, whatever it is. And then I connect them with you after I start the approval process, so you know what's going on. And these can go either on a yard anywhere you want, or if it's going to be an open house, or for some reason, I know some sellers decide, hey, you know what, I don't want extra signage, which, it's kind of, I don't understand fully all the time, since there's already a sign there. But we can put one up during an open house, right? So as people walk through the house, it's really cool, it catches attention, and sometimes it inspires people to click on that QR code and get in contact with me. So now I have that buyer approved. I bring them to you again in a bow, and you have a chance to either double end it if they don't have a real estate agent, which many times they won't if they're going through that process, or you can refer it to somebody on your team, because some agents I know kind of stay away from the double end thing. But it's another cool thing that we can do. The next thing is training. Right? Everybody's all hopefully about continual education and what we can do. And so I subscribe to an agent mastermind where we have top producing real estate agents in their fields and in their markets, talking about different ideas, talking about marketing, talking about social, talking about technology, talking about building a team, you name it. The one that I actually was just yesterday, which I found really cool, was a training on FSBOs. So now that whole thing with FSBOs, I think might be another opportunity for you guys to capture some listings for, because they say that over 80% of FSBOs actually end up ultimately listing with a real estate agent after they, beat their head against the wall a little bit and can't get it sold. And because of the market that we're going into now, it's going to take the expert real estate agent to sell their home now, whereas before wasn't as hard last year, right? So that's why a lot of people are like, I'm going to save myself that commission. So there's all these different trainings that I can send a link to every week, and you can see what the topic is, see if it interests you, and register for. And here's some just samples of past classes. How to get referrals, how to talk to 5 times more people in a day, how to turn a repeatable system action into 50 referrals. Like I said, the FSBO technique. There was one on social media. So there's all kinds of different things, because these do happen weekly. And here's just some of the basic categories, right? Most requested, building a team, business building, strategies, technology, what the top producers are doing. It's a lot of cool things. The next piece is technology. So of course, co-branded marketing materials for your listings. We have an app. We can do property sites, listing packages, which are really clean. But the thing I'm most excited to be able to offer you guys now is support with your video content. Right. So we know it's important. We see all the people doing reels and you know, the 2-3 minute videos and the professional captions and stuff like that. So I have basically made it possible now to have 2 studios available to you guys. I'm going to make it open twice a month. There's going to be a way to register, but one's in Westlake Village and one's in Irvine. I understand most people are going to want to drive to Irvine, so I have to try to get something a little bit more local, but we'll have a professional camera, equipment, professional lighting, mics, the whole bit, right? And then we'll take that content. You'll come and do a batch set on a day, for example, just plan for an hour and, hey, I'm going to do these 10 little videos or 10 videos, you know, talking about the market or little updates or, you know, things that are maybe a minute long. And then maybe you do some that are a little bit longer, more educational, right? We call that edu marketing for YouTube and other places. Right. So when you do that, and then I'll take that content, send it to my production team, and they'll edit it for you. They'll caption it for you. And I'm going to offer that to you guys 100% free, just for being my partners and, you know, helping each other grow. So I'm super excited to be able to do that. I don't think there's anybody else out there that's going to offer you that. So I'm happy to be able to say that. Okay. Other like basic, but important benefits or differences is that we do full loan commitments, not just pre-approvals. Of course, that's standard now. No application fee, no upfront credit fee. Obviously, we always promote the local competitive advantage, 15-day purchase to close guarantee. So our speed is phenomenal. One-stop shop for all programs. So we have everything from your FHA, VA, conventional, USDA, jumbo, super jumbo, to everything else under the sun. I even have hard money. I do fix and flip loans, rental properties, some commercial stuff. So it's literally a one-stop shop. And if we don't have it or can't do it, we'll find it. And so that's one cool thing that we can really do. Our team approach is important because everybody that's associated in my team is going to know what's going on with your file every step of the way. In case I'm out or I can't respond right away because I'm in a meeting, you can send an email to Lisa or you can send a text message, and somebody's always going to know what's going on. It's rare that you'll need to reach out to anybody besides me, but I think it's an important point to make. Your listing appointment support, like I talked about, materials, extra value adds. And if you ever want to tie me in to a listing appointment for whatever reason, I've had a couple agents ask me in the past, I'll make myself available to you. Listing packages, post-closing nurture campaigns is important because, again, we're marketing to them on your behalf for about 12 months, just keeping you top of mind in case anything else comes up. And of course, we're reaching out, or me personally, I'm reaching out once a quarter. I know you guys have your own follow-up stuff as well. The red, yellow, green approvals basically means, hey, you send somebody to me, I'm going to tell you right away whether, you know what, I know they're eager, they want to go see a property tomorrow. You shouldn't spend your time because they're not going to be approvable for 6 months or whatever, right? Or, hey, you know what, this is going to take a week or two, or, man, they're solid, we'll have them approved tomorrow and you're ready to go. That way, again, you can make the best use of your time and know who you're spending time with. Because I know a lot of agents that have spent time showing properties, driving people around, and they're not even approved or potentially approvable. One thing I'll say here too, that's really cool, is our appraisal panel and appraisal process. That's going to help you on the front end. It also helps us move faster. We've got appraisals in as little as 3 days because we have the ability to actually pre-order an appraisal. But one thing that you guys can utilize and leverage, let me know if it comes up and you need it, is actually a pre-valuation report. I did one yesterday because I have a client that I'm going to be speaking to, wants to do a refinance, and we weren't sure what the value is going to be. He hasn't completed his application yet, but I got the address. I sent it over to my appraisal team. And what the pre-valuation report does is it actually gives us an estimated range of value from an appraiser's perspective, rather than just you having to figure out, okay, based off comps, this is what I think it's going to be. Because ultimately, it's going to be what the appraiser puts on there. And you guys, of course, are great at setting your prices. but that gives us that extra confidence. If we need something, if we're unsure, or if we're doing a price reduction or something's happening there, and you need to get an idea from an appraiser's perspective, they'll turn those things around for you typically within 24 hours. And I have a link that I can share with you guys, so you guys can just order them at your whim as you need them. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful in the future for you. And, we all know that we want to get to the chocolate factory fast. So you do that by giving me a call, making sure I get your clients approved. Hopefully that's all of value to you guys. And I'd love to hear some feedback, questions, or any other thing that you can think of that I can do to support you. What do you think?
Fantastic, Ivan. Really great.
Well, we're in this for the long haul, right?
I think I've told you this before, but I'm blown away by your level of communication and how you just articulate yourself, and you just on top of it, and you value referrals. I mean, it makes me want to step up my game, and so it's inspiring, and I think it's just fantastic. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that, man. And that's what it is, right? That's how we can also hold each other accountable, because I'm declaring it right now, man. 2023 is going to be a record year for all of us. There is a shift coming. We weathered the storm. People are getting more comfortable with how we can manipulate the rates, and eventually the rates will soften as well. And we'll use those tools to continue to employ even better techniques there. So Diana, David, you guys have any comments?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry, David.
That's all right. No, go ahead. Finish.
No, I was just saying thank you. That's very helpful. And I agree on 2023, definitely.
You bet. So quick story about Diana. Our last transaction was like one of the ones that we all pray for. It was because, man, the last few, and a lot of them are just so challenging, and so many things that go on behind the scenes that a lot of times you guys don't understand. But with her particular transaction, I reached out. This was one of those kind of testimonials to those disciplines and how they work, right? I made a phone call, we connected. I asked what's going on. Hey, by the way, and her partner said, yeah, you know what? Actually, we were just talking to this person. Why don't you reach out to them? Gave me their number. I connected with them the same day. I had them approved the day after. And because they were already kind of like active, and because they're awesome and all the stars aligned, literally had them in contract the day after that. And I closed the loan 14 days after that. It was one of those like
amazing. It was quite amazing.
Right. But it's also because we structure everything properly on the front end so that we can accomplish all those things. But man, and of course, it was straight W-2, good earner, long employment history. So there wasn't a lot of complicated pieces on the borrower's side either. But man, it was super cool, and we pray for more of those, and so hopefully they'll come. But thanks, Dan, and you were of course wonderful to work with.
Thank you,
David. What were you going to say?
I was going to ask you on your lowering of the interest rate. Was that a 2-1 buy down you were talking about?
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, but I locked the rate in at 5.75. And so the first year was 3.75, second year is 4.75, and the third year it was going to go to the base approved rate of 5.75, which, by the way, is still a great rate.
Thank you.
You bet. And in my listing packages, one of the things that I've started adding on the last page is actually a breakdown of that, right? So there's available loan programs, there's different things, but then there's, hey, here's what a 3-2-1 looks like, here's what a 2-1 looks like, here's what a 1-0 looks like. And because now a lot of listing agents are actually using that as part of their marketing material, as setting their offers apart. Hey, we'll seller willing to offer X amount concession. I know Chris has a $20,000 concession on his 14 home development that can be applied towards rate buy down and or closing costs. So having that as part of the listing package, for those who aren't aware, at least it makes them think like, okay, yeah, this is an opportunity or available and helps you guys stand out. So definitely something that's going to be, obviously wasn't relevant until really relevant about 3 months ago, wasn't actually relevant until about 6 months ago. And of course, this wasn't used for the last 3.5 years. Now, of course, it's not new. It was available and around before, and anybody who's been in the business a while when rates were high again has seen this, but now we're doing it at a higher level. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you spending the time with me. Thank you so much. And for those who registered and couldn't attend, I am sending this recording out to you. And by the way, as a reminder, if you guys want any marketing, the resources, the relocation stuff, let me know, because it's this time of year. This recording is happening in December. I also have a business plan PDF and a goal setting program from Tom Ferry. So if you guys want to do that together or in the offices, or just want to do something for yourselves, let me know. I'm happy to send you those resources too. And for now, we'll see you on the next call.